Good afternoon, all Smite fans. Welcome to Week 4 of the North American Challenger Cup. Week 4 of the European side ended yesterday. We're here to talk about North America. We are in the final stage of the open bracket before moving on to the round-robin version of the tournament, which starts next week. I am a Pip. I'm going to be casting today for you. Joining me is Tiger. Tiger, how are you?
I am absolutely fantastic. This is the last week before we go into the round robin, so the stakes are really high for a lot of the teams that are not a solid pick to go in there just yet. And we have Sanguine Esports today versus EnG Prime. Now, Sanguine are the 4th seed currently for the NA with 115 points. EnG aren't in the top 10, which means if they push forward and get far enough into the bracket, they might be able to make the round robin. It all depends on if they can take down the 4th seed today.
If they're able to knock out Sanguine Esports is looking pretty comfortable. They're sitting in 4th place, as you said. Very strong chance of making it to the round robin with the way that the points will be handed out in today's tournament. EnG Prime, as you said, fighting for their tournament life, but I think that we are going to go ahead and get ready. It looks like the first ban is coming out from Sanguine. I'm excited for this game. Let's go! And that's going to be Ao Kuang. Ao Kuang, a very potent pick there.
Yeah, you don't want Ao Kuang in the jungle. The execute can shred. I don't care who you are. Even if you're a Khepri with your ultimate on you, Ao Kuang's still going to kill you. So that execute, very useful. He has a lot of damage coming out since he technically is that burst mage / assassin. EnG Prime banding out that Raijin. Don't want that electric cannon in the mid lane. Lots of damage coming out from those taiko drums, plus the CC on each drum beat, depending on which one you play.
I wouldn't want to face a Raijin in the mid lane no matter who I am. It's actually one of my worst matchups personally, and I can only imagine that's exactly why they don't want to deal with it. Kumbhakarna also going to get banned out. Kumbhakarna we saw a lot of yesterday in the European scene. He was in the jungle, he was in the solo lane. Really, he was doing everything. He proved to be extremely valuable in zoning out enemy teams and enemy players, and so I'm not really all that surprised to see North America taking that and realizing that they don't want to play against it.
Yeah, he's really versatile. You can play him in jungle, you can play him in solo, you can play him as the Guardian, but Ratatosker being the last pick out because Rat is available, so if you don't want to have the Rat, you're going to have to ban him this time. But that does mean Susano is on the table for anybody at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw Sanguine nab that up immediately.
Oh, but I think that we are going to be surprised. That is an Athena first pick, valued over the Susano.
Not surprised still. Athena has that global ultimate. She can go from one side of the map to the other, get increased protections on somebody that may be in a bad spot. Plus the damage coming down from her ultimate is really useful. So, EnG Prime, picking up what I'm putting down though, going for the Susano.
Going for Susano, going for the Scylla. Susano having in his kit multiple ways of catching up with targets, including a dash and a teleport, as well as being able to reposition enemy players. It's going to provide a lot of catch-up, assassination potential, and also setup for his team.
And the Scylla can provide crushing amounts of damage, total pun intended. She's just a complete monster. That pun was not intended. For every ultimate that she hits, her ultimate refreshes, so you can keep going, essentially getting a pentakill. I don't know if we'll see that, but hopefully. And Sanguine Esports rounding out, probably for the mid lane, their Zeus pick.
Zeus pick is kind of interesting here. Zeus, he does provide a lot of damage, a lot of burst damage in particular with the detonate, and his ult is a wonderful zoning ult. Unfortunately, he has very low mobility. That's one of his weaknesses, and against something like a Susano, having a lack of a getaway could be pretty dangerous. Thor getting locked in, though, is no surprise. This is kind of the double global comp, right? We have Thor going up in the air, Athena can ult onto him, and then they can come both crashing down onto the target of their choice, about halfway across the map if they want to.
Yeah, Thor plus the CC that he brings with the wall, and then the damage coming out from the double tap. But in order to, I guess, try and turn that around, EnG Prime picking up the Guan, a very versatile kit. He's got the heal, which definitely comes in handy in those team fights. If anything, I love Guan for the heal.
And I expect that, yeah, there it is. That Odin ban was going to come out right away. Guan Yu is only potent if you have no anti-healing on the enemy team. So ban out the Odin so that they can't put that cage down and reduce the healing, and you're gonna have good times.
I feel like some people forget that. You can't heal in Odin's cage. People throw Isis ultimates in the cage all the time. It's not going to work unless the cage is gone. But Bacchus being banned out from Sanguine Esports,
Targeting
not a surprising one, just targeting some Guardians to make sure that EnG Prime are a little stifled.
and targeting guardians that have a good bit of setup too. They don't want to end up with a guardian that's going to provide an easier setup for the Scylla to get the ultimate off. After all, we do see the Jingwei ban coming out. Don't want to deal with the 14-year-old girl, I guess.
No,
I guess she's just too savage.
no, she throws down some nice CC. Her ultimate, while it isn't necessarily the strongest out there, can get her out of some sticky situations. And Sobek being banned out from Sanguine Esports, I love Sobek as a setup support because all of his CC does damage. You're going to see Sobek on the top of the damage chart for the first couple of minutes just because Sobek is so concentrated versus like a Kumbhakarna, which doesn't do any damage. But EnG Prime going to start off the second pick phase with the Hu Yi.
Hu Yi provides a good bit of team fight potential, and if you don't know what you're picking into, Hu Yi provides a very strong, kind of, I can take on anybody mark, right? Other hunters are a little bit more situational. We do see Apollo coming in across the way, which I kind of like in this matchup. Apollo's passive is going to allow him to get a good bit of, extra autos to deal with the extra damage potential off of Hu Yi. So that's going to be a really good matchup over in the duo lane. And then a Fenrir is the final pick over here on Sanguine. I love seeing the puppy used. I kind of now wish that had been a Scotty Fenrir pick for the double wolf combo.
No, it's okay. Fenrir is my favorite. I am completely satisfied. But what I did notice about Sanguine Esports before EnG picks, Sanguine has a fantastic global setup. Athena, Thor, Apollo all have a way to get across the map with their ultimates, their global ultimates. So Thor can get anywhere, Apollo can get anywhere for split pushing, and Athena can get anywhere to help her teammates out. So Sanguine Esports are drafting the ultimate global. The only thing that they have missing is a Giannis.
That's what I was just thinking, a Giannis in the mid position. We do see the final pick locked in, though, from EnG Prime, and that's going to be a Kumbhakarna. Kumbhakarna is going to provide a nice bit of setup for this Scylla. Epic Uppercut is going to leave almost perfect positioning for Armor Monster, along with a Mez, along with a Root. There's just a lot of setup for a Sikkim Crush. Pretty much everything on this team is going to come down to setting up that Scylla in the late game, and I'm hoping that we can see some really awesome team fighting presence as we do have the opportunity to move into the game. There we go.
I don't really have any final thoughts. I'm just going to jump on into the game. On the left side of your Spectator UI, the boys in blue. Sanguine Esports rocking the blue trunks Fun Crush. On that Thor in the jungle, Covey. On the Zeus in the mid lane, Famous Hate. On Apollo in the duo lane, Racketeer. On that Athena is support, and Medieval running that Fenrir in the jungle.
And over
no,
here
I'm a liar. Hold on, I am a liar. That is a Thor jungle.
That is a Thor jungle. That is correct. And over here on the red team, EnG Prime, right-hand side, top of the minimap, you're going to see Xenon Hawk running Guan Yu in that solo position. Blaze going to take Susano into the jungle. We're going to see Fate playing onto Scylla. Yumta and Bud Pop are going to be our duo lane. Hu Yi, Kumbhakarna, deadly combination. We're seeing a lot of pots getting started over here. I'm counting 3 total. Interestingly enough, for me at least, Scylla is not going to go with that, opting instead for the Soulstone into Dynasty Plate Helm, which is going to give her a little bit more survivability, I think, against the Thor that is expected to have that power pot.
Makes sense, and with their own Susano drafting the power pot as well, Blaze going to be rocking a very dangerous Susano early game. Both teams just playing it relatively easy. We're not going to see anything crazy coming out. No stolen buffs, no crazy items aside from the defensive item coming out from Scylla. But that's more of just a smart move. So instead, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. I'm pretty excited for this match. I love watching Sanguine, and I want EnG Prime to succeed.
I love watching Sanguine as well. Sanguine has now, Just to back up a second, this is the second round of this tournament. We were not able to bring you round one, so this is round two. These teams have already played and won a round already. We do see Fun Crush joining Medieval over here on the lane to go ahead and get some early clear on the solo lane. So this is round two. They've already played, they've already warmed up, and I think it's a sign of respect coming out from both teams that they didn't invade.
Exactly, and respect that they're not trying anything crazy. Both teams are even crazy with the items. Both teams are playing it safe, and both teams have a lot to lose at this point. Sanguine Esports don't want to lose their spot as fourth place, and EnG Prime don't want to not be in round robin next week. But we're already seeing a little bit of damage coming out from Sanguine Esports. Got to pull over from Bud Pop. Going to be forced to use the jump to get away. Sanguine Esports having a pretty dominant performance over in duo lane thus far, a minute and 17 seconds into the game.
This clear from the Apollo and the Athena, I'm expecting to do a little bit better than the Ho-Yi Kumbhakarna, at least at first. We're gonna see them even out in a level or two. Kumbhakarna's belly bopper, as I call it, is actually going to start doing a good bit of damage. There's another great dash combo comes out, forcing another jump out. Getting the jump out of Ho-Yi means that you're limiting his options, and knowing the timer on that is going to allow some much needed setup.
Exactly, and I'm kind of curious because we're having Funcrush and Covey pushing forward in EnG Prime jungle. I guess they're feeling it out, putting down wards, doing whatever they can just to get a heads up. But Fate gonna get a fantastic double tap onto Fate from Funcrush. So far, EnG Prime have been pushed back in every single lane, even solo lane. We're watching Medieval keep Xenon Hawk at bay, even though Fenrir's a little low looking, a little bit of a taunt, but it's respect and fear at this point more than likely. But Medieval jumping in, he's looking for Xenon Hawk. He might be able to find it. The Brutalize is good, and Medieval is gonna finish him off for the first blood. Sanguine Esports on the map first, 2 minutes and 34 seconds into the game.
And Medieval looked like he was going to be in trouble, but he did have health potions going at the time and was able to stick around, use Ragnarok, pick up that first blood nice and clean. And we do see Covey and Funcrush still putting out this damage and aggression into the mid lane. Part of that is that both of those players have pots on them, 450 pots, and they don't want those to go to waste in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Exactly, and that's 450 gold early on. That's quite a disappointment if you lose that or if you die. So it's kind of the catch-22 of the potion. If you go too aggressive and lose it, then you didn't get anything out of it. But if you're not aggressive enough, then it just goes away without you having anything out of it. So this red camp just came up for EnG Prime. It looked like Sanguin wanted it, but we're going to have a 4-man rotation over to make sure that nobody else gets it. But in retaliation, Sanguin are looking at the blue buff for EnG Prime, and it looks like Medieval and Covey are going to take it from the Guan, who's going to be pushed out by Funcrush.
Not only did they take that, but they also took the speed buff away from EnG Prime. So EnG Prime had to use the 4-man grouping around the red buff to secure it, but it cost them 2 buff camps on the right-hand side of the map and allowed for a rotation from Covey and allowed Funcrush to keep the Guan Yu down.
So Sanguine Esports rotated over. EnG Prime wanted the right mid camps, but they weren't able to get it. Blaze taking a little bit of damage from Funcrush, double tap, both hits of the double tap not gonna hit. But EnG Prime are gonna be able to get the left mid camps. That's really the only win they've had thus far when it comes to the experience. It's not really showing just yet. Sanguine Esports only up about 1,100 experience and 1,200 gold, which the numbers are so negligent at this point. But it's a good foothold for Sanguine Esports to keep going and turn this into a mountain of experience that EnG Prime aren't going to be able to climb.
A mountain of experience indeed. We do see them starting to get a good bit of map control. Across the Skies came out from Famous Hate to make the rotation back to lane, forcing out another jump from Bud Pop. And you see that this Apollo is still pushed Ho-Yi back to the tower line to defend his line up there. This jungle is pretty much fully in Sanguine's control.
And I think that's why we're seeing, even this early on, 5 minutes into the game, 4 wards coming out from EnG Prime. Any little bit counts. Having that vision in the jungle, having that vision on these important little objectives like the mid camps is incredibly important. And Sanguine Esports not really on the ward train just yet. They only have 2 to their name. So EnG Prime definitely taking the steps needed to try and get a foothold.
Definitely doing so, although Famous Hate has a sentry ward over the top of his, so he's going to notice if they do try to counter ward up there, and they're going to be able to pick up some extra gold, or at least know about the vision control that's going to try to come out.
Fate and Fun Crush in a bad spot. Fate doing the I'm a Monster, not going to connect with anyone. Fun Crush going to get out of dodge. We saw the Typhoon coming out from Blaze, but nobody falls. It looked pretty dire though. Fun Crush going to be able to get a stun onto Yumta, who tried to get the root onto the rotating Thor. Still looking at the left lane, looks like he's not going to back just yet. And that mid fight was a missed opportunity for EnG Prime.
Fun Crush did make the rotation over to the left-hand side of the map, but he has to be careful because he did walk over a ward on his way over here. But I don't think that Bud Pop even knew it. Oh, that's Tectonic Rift is going to be just off the mark. The double tap also was just a little off, and we do see two more members of EnG Prime coming over here to back up their hunter. But what's this? Ratcheter is not willing to let this go, making the rotation towards Utah, but going to go ahead and use Defender of Olympus to get over and once again take the speed buff away from the members of EnG.
Blaze getting double tapped, almost eradicated half of his health. So Susano can dish out a lot of damage, but he's not really able to take as much. Kobe rotating over to the right lane, going to go ahead and start this mana camp again for Medieval, once again taken away from Xenon Hawk. The sustain is good for the Guan Yu when it comes to the health, but when it comes to mana, not so much. And now they're going to try and pull Fate. The Sentinel is good, but Medieval's looking for somebody to chomp. Not going to be able to find anybody as the ultimate stops, but Xenon Hawk not going to be able to get anybody in that final ultimate either. The Mez is good on the Athena. They're still trying to find somebody to taunt into the shield. While then Fun Crush comes in from the air, going to be able to take out Blaze, and Kobe takes out Fate. The epic uppercut was good, but now Yumta's going to pay for it. That passive has been procced, and Medieval is going to get credit for that kill.
Medieval able to time a perfectly timed jump. Unchained is going to let him avoid the crush damage. The ultimate Anvil of Dawn coming down from the Thor is going to be enough to stun them in place, and then the Zeus ultimate is going to go ahead and clean up two, making that actually a 3-person wipe there.
Yep, and we're going to see Sanguine Esports start rotating towards this Gold Fury and start finishing it off. It's already at about half health, and with 4 members here, I highly doubt EnG Prime are going to be able to even contest it.
They saw that going on their minimap. They couldn't do anything about it, and that is the first Gold Fury taken by Sanguine Esports, extending their lead to 4,000 gold here at 8 minutes into the game.
Yeah, but EnG Prime push forward. They want a little bit of damage onto this tower. Force Athena to go the long way around, and Utah's doing a good job of zoning out the Athena for now. Fun Crush has the CC available to try and stop this, but he wants to wait till they have some minions in here to help give a little bit. 2-man taunt into the tower is going to be good. Fate taking a lot of damage here. The tower doing its job, definitely. Sentinel's going to help her get away, but now Medieval's jumping over the wall, trying to find somebody. The bite is good on the Bud Pop, taking him towards the tower, but not gonna be just off the mark, not gonna pull him that far in just yet. 4 members of EnG Prime are here in the middle, and Medieval is not giving up.
If Medieval had full runes there, that would have probably been a death onto Xenon Hawk. He hit the jump perfectly dead on, but it didn't have the stun from the full runes. Able to go ahead and get out of there safely, take his own speed buff. He's going to give it up to, obviously, the jungler and make his rotation back over to his lane. They saved their tower there, Tiger. They saved their tower.
They did. It took quite a bit of damage, but they were able to keep it standing, and now they're trying to get some retaliation for it. Covey going to finish off Fate in the mid lane. Now, Covey's having a kind of hard time. If you look at the player damage, only 722 damage coming out from the Scylla, and that's not something we normally see. Scylla's usually close to the top at this point with the crush damage, the AoE, and just the sheer amount of burst she can provide.
Sheer amount of burst, but it does take a little while to get online with that, and honestly, Covey's been doing a good job of denying experience, denying gold, and generally keeping Fate down. We do see Xenon Hawk forced into the cavalry charge in a preemptive defensive stretch as Fun Crush is going to go up into the air. Let's go ahead and ride along with him as he tries to pick out a target. The target is the blue camp over here on the right-hand side, not wanting to give that up. In the middle lane, we do see aggression under that tower, once again pushing some minions under there, denying some gold, stripping it, and picking up the kill is Covey with the detonate damage onto Yumta.
Oh, that was amazing. He thought he got away too. Fate gonna get pulled by the taunt. Purification is good, and Sentinel not necessarily needed just yet. That's gonna be down. Covey taking quite a bit of damage from the crush, but with that level difference between the two of them, it's not gonna do too much. Scylla desperately hurting for experience at this point. Like Bud Pop, level 12. All right, Blaze, level 9. Fate, level 9. So both the jungle and the mid having a pretty hard time getting those levels up there compared to Covey, who just now dinged level 13.
Absolutely, and we do see Covey taking out the first tower of our game. That is, mid tower has fallen on the side of EnG Prime. Unfortunately for them, they're going to be able to spot this back. Covey's like, nah, I'm gonna take this out beforehand, but it might cost him his life. He is in a bad spot. I'm a monster's coming out. Covey's trying to juke around. This is no escape, and Covey's gonna fall. Blaze able to get his team on the board, but Medieval Ragnarok is good. Fun Crush is better. He's able to get a kill onto Blaze. Yumta, not wanting to deal with any of this, is going to run away, but the sprint and the chase is on, coming out from the members of Sanguine.
They're still looking for it. Tectonic Rift going to keep Yumta away from the tower for now, but looks like they're just going to go ahead and back off. The disengage is good because we have a fight happening in the duo lane over here. Medieval looking for it, going to be able to take out Bud Pop. Xenon Hawk a little too late with the teleport. Instead, Medieval probably going to get away. No, there are 3 people here. I'm not sure what Medieval's going to do. He just used his jump and it's not available. Epic Uppercut is good. He's going to come down and it's either going to be Winions or Xenon Hawk that are going to get the kill.
It is in
now,
fact
we have
Xenon
Apollo
Hawk
down here running away. They're just going to... Famous Hate's getting out of dodge. We lost one, we don't want to lose another.
And sometimes that's the mentality you have to have. He probably could have gone in there and maybe delayed long enough for Medieval to get out of there, but I think that would have also spelled Famous Hate's death. He didn't have his ultimate available. He was going to be a sitting duck if he had dove in there.
Alright, so I have a question while there's not a fight just yet. If you were the Scylla, we still have that Imperial Helmet and the Soul Stone building into boots. Is it too late in the game to start building the stacking item considering how starved Scylla is?
It might be getting to that point. You know, we don't see a stacking item on the opposing mage. Covey opted not to go with stacks. So it's not the end of the world if the Scylla decides not to go there because the lane opponent isn't doing it. What I do find interesting is that Zeus has built a Mark of the Vanguard in his 3rd item slot, which is going to give him a good bit more protections, a little bit of health, and a lot more survivability and damage over time effects like the kind that Blaze is putting out with his 3.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in my own personal games. Blaze taking a lot of damage from the double tap once again. Fun Crush doing a fantastic job of keeping people at bay with those ranged attacks. Yeah, I haven't seen that on a Zeus before, but it makes sense with Zeus having no escape. Any little bit of protection helps. He's got the Dynasty Plate Helm there as well for the physical and magical protection. Physical, most definitely. They are starting the Gold Fury. It is almost down, but the 9 Suns are down. Fate trying to come in with the I'm a Monster, but it's not going to be enough. Medieval gonna take down the Scylla. Epic Uppercut we have no Epic Uppercut just yet. Fun Crush tried to come down onto somebody, but not gonna find it. Xenon Hawk ultimate has been wasted, and Bud Pop taking a lot of damage from the detonate. Yumta gonna be able to get away off the side, and now we have Apollo in the air, but Medieval's gonna take him out before he has a target. Xenon Hawk taking out Fun Crush, however, so a lot of the damage is gone. Xenon Hawk trying to save himself, but it's not going to be enough as Athena going to finish off that kill.
Ratcheteer going ahead and securing a kill, not stealing it, because after all, you need to feed your support if you want a healthy, growing support. And that was a beautiful team coming out from Sanguine Esports. Sure, they lost Fun Crush, but really they got the return kills onto, was that 3 total? Because Blaze fell early on in that fight.
Yeah, no, that was 3 for 1. Sanguine Esports have been doing a fantastic job of making sure that they pick these fights that are going to work in their favor. Looking for Fate still. Purification is good. Medieval jumping in the backline. He does not have the ultimate available to pull him towards his teammates, so instead it's more of just a zoning at this point. But the Crush going to take a little bit of damage. Ultimate is good now. Fate looking for it and going to get obliterated by Famous Hate. But now Medieval is not stopping now as this tower continues to fall. It is now gone. Medieval trying to get away. Once again, gonna fall, this time to Bud Pop. Xenon Hawk on the horse. Not gonna be able to find anybody because Sanguine Esports got out of dodge. They got what they wanted. They lost another member, but in a trade for Fate and the tower. Still a win for Sanguine Esports.
That's absolutely a win for Sanguine Esports. They're now sitting on a 9,000 gold lead here at 15 minutes after taking the Tier 1 and Tier 2 in the left-hand side, along with the Gold Fury, and 4 total kills in that fight, losing 2 members of their own. I think that's a pretty good trade at this stage of the game.
Epip, look at the player damage. Zeus, Thor, Fenrir topping these charts with massive numbers, 15 minutes and 16 seconds into the game, whereas the highest on ENG Prime is 4,253. Double.
Three members.
Sanguine is doubling their
Three members
damage.
of Sanguin have doubled their damage. That is impressive. Sanguin is showing exactly why they are the fourth place team in this bracket, fourth place team in the Challenger Cup for North America. Oh man, I'm sorry. There was a bobblehead Apollo Award that just died, and it made a funny sound when it died, and I couldn't keep it serious.
No worries. Fate almost dying there. Gonna get a double tap from our Fun Crush, but not gonna fall. Crush taking quite a bit of damage onto the Athena, but once again, it's still not enough. Yumta, though, on the receiving end of a lot of auto attacks from Famous Hate, and it hurts. There's a 5-level difference between Famous Hate and Yumta. It's not the worst, but because of that, even though you're tanky, it's still gonna hurt. Yumta has been forced to back in all of these fights because he's just not able to hack it. Xenon Hawk forced onto the ultimate, but Fun Crush coming down, still not gonna find anybody. The Typhoon is good, and the 9 Suns are coming down. They're looking at the zoning opportunity instead. Yumta sending Fenrir up into the air. They're trying to find the I'm a Monster. Not gonna finish them off though, and they're forced back. Medieval! In the backline, and Covey taking out Blaze.
Medieval just jumped out of the I'm a Monster after landing from that epic uppercut. Wonderful mechanical timing coming out from him. Blaze is going to fall, as is the Tier 2 tower. Sanguine Esports extends their lead once again.
It is 16 minutes and 51 seconds into the game. Sanguine Esports are up with 13 kills, and ENG only have 4. And Yumta once again out of position in a very bad spot. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to lock him down. Oh! The detonate will finish him off, but with nobody there to proc his passive, he will be able to revive himself here in just a second as Sanguine Esports back off. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Fire Giant here in a couple minutes.
I think that getting that passive though was enough for the members of Sanguine. They now know that there's a 3-minute timer on Kumbhakarna where he will die if we can get his HP to 0. We don't have to worry about his passive for the next 3 minutes.
Exactly, and that's a win enough for them. Sanguine Esports getting the stuff after the stuff, as F. says. You don't want to leave anything on the map for ENG Prime to take. You want to extend your lead as far as you can, get any little bit of gold and experience off the map. And if you're ENG, you want to get as much as you can to help shorten the lead that Sanguine Esports have. It's quite a mountain to climb at this point with 13,000 experience in favor of the Blue Trunks. So every little bit counts. ENG Prime just to have to start taking a lot more.
13,000 experience in favor of Sanguine Esports, and not a single level 20 to be found yet. So that is a pure experience lead, not an inflated one. Once players start hitting level 20, the experience lead starts meaning very little. Right now it means a lot though. We do see Famous Hate starting up the Gold Fury as a fight breaks out in the mid lane. Fun Crush's ult is going to be down. Ragnarok's going to come out. Can't get a grip onto that Susano. Now he does. Able to take it out. Blaze having to fire the ult in a funny position because of the way that he was positioned there. We see Apollo come crashing down from the skies. It's going to be good. Epic uppercut is even better. It's going to land onto Covey, putting him out, but Sanctuary is going to prevent any kind of follow-up damage. Medieval not wanting to let them get away. Ratcheteer is in the same mindset. Hoyi going to jump away. Ratcheteer looking to dash, maybe a dash taunt.
Ooh.
Come on!
Fate, beautiful Sanctuary coming out from the Scylla, almost died. Famous Hate gonna finish off Bud Pop, and now we have the ultimate coming out from Cubby. Lots of little charges waiting for Zeus to detonate them, but ENG Prime are set for their first big defense. They were able to save the Phoenix, but I don't really think that's what Sanguine Esports was necessarily looking for. They just wanted to win that team fight and take somebody down, which they did, and they haven't lost anybody for it. It's a 1-for-0, even though it was all 5-5 jumping in. No, it was 4v5 because Famous Hate was over there soloing the Gold Fury. So Sanguine Esports are still excelling at these team fights and picking the right moments to attack. Yeah, you're in the lead, but they're playing defensively, offensively.
They're not going and saying, "Hey, we've got a 14,000 gold lead. Let's go ahead and just start the Fire Giant while all 5 members are over there." We do see a split push coming out over here on the right-hand side of the map, but we are going to see Medieval teleport in, jump. Fun Crush's ult's going to come down. Ragnarok's going to come out. Sorry, Yumta, you guys probably stuck around a little bit too long at this tower. We're going to see the taunt come out. It is good. Berserker Barrage is better, putting a lot of damage into Yumta. And hey, it's not been 3 minutes yet. Yumta, you go ahead and have a seat.
I feel kind of bad for Xenon Hawk. He had to sit there and watch his teammate die. Famous Hate now starting up this Fire Giant. Sanguine Esports feeling a little bit better about it at this point. 15-4, 20 minutes and 25 seconds into the game. They're looking for it, but 4 members of EnG Prime are on the outskirts just waiting. Fire Giant continuing to fall, but now they're starting to come in. Xenon Hawk's looking for it, and they won't be able to steal it. They won't be able to steal it. EnG Prime have the Fire Giant now. And Fate's getting out of dodge. Xenon Hawk gonna get pulled in by 3 and pinched by 4. They're looking for it. Cubby's gonna finish him off, but that doesn't matter. That's the biggest slap in the face for Sanguine Esports, for EnG taking it. Bud Pop hanging out and just watching. Gonna get a stun onto Cubby just to add insult to injury.
They were able to steal away that Gold Fury or Fire Giant, and we are seeing the fight isn't over yet. Famous Hate taking out Blaze. Now the target seems to be Yumta one more time, and can we get him? One more auto will do it. This Ragnarok would do it. Fate, in the meantime, is being taken out by Funcrush up at the top of the map. We are going to see Medieval taking out Yumta. Bud Pop's going to fall. Famous Hate getting credited for that kill. And even though they stole the Fire Giant, it doesn't matter because all 5 members of EnG Prime are down. The tier 2 tower is down. This should be a Phoenix down, and possibly even a push to end the game.
Yeah, the only member alive right now is Xenon Hawk, and with all 4 members here alive, they're gonna start taking away these Phoenixes. Blaze is here now, but he's only level 15, whereas the lowest level on Sanguine Esports is 16, and that's the support. So not necessarily looking good for EnG Prime. Xenon Hawk doing a good job of keeping Medieval at bay, but the stun's going to be good, going to allow them to get out of the way so Xenon Hawk cannot retaliate further. And now they're just kind of waiting, going to pull anybody that they can and pinch them.
That was a remarkable defense coming out from EnG Prime. They lost 1 Phoenix, but they were able to prevent the other 2 from falling. Xenon Hawk doing a brilliant job of zoning. And I guess if you're going to have somebody up and available, it's probably that Guan who can sustain a good bit in those extended team fights and be able to take that out. Xenon Hawk doing a beautiful job of showing us exactly what to do when you're playing from behind against a team that just wiped your team out.
EnG Prime have put a band-aid over a bullet wound, but they still have to keep making plays like that Fire Giant steal in order to halt Sanguine Esports' mountain of experience lead, stop their snowball in its tracks. So you put the band-aid over it, you stopped him from completely wiping out everything with that Fire Giant, but now EnG Prime have to basically hunker down and provide the greatest defense we have ever seen in Challenger Cup history.
If I'm playing on EnG Prime, though, I see the Fire Giant steal and the deicide, but then I see a successful defense from my solo laner, and I'm suddenly pumped again. I'm back in this game. I'm ready to go for it. We just proved that we can hold out against a team that has 4 times the number of kills that we do, preventing them from the end, and we can do this. And so I'm pumped, you know?
They better be pumped because Sanguine Esports are pushing down this mid lane. This is probably going to be the final assault, at least in their eyes. Athena gonna get the taunt onto Yumta and the double tap and the stun, but Xenon Hawk gonna come in with the heal, gonna add a little bit of pressure off of it. But Ragnarok has been activated. Medieval looking for somebody, gonna be able to pull up Xenon Hawk, and he's gonna get immediately obliterated more than likely. He is able to get away because we have Blaze in the background, but Xenon Hawk still looking pretty low. The Zeus ultimate is down. We're looking for some kind of damage. Fun Crush lands in the background, in the back line. Utah not going to be finished off by the detonate charges. And once again, Sanguine Esports are kind of falling up a little short when it comes to this assault.
They're falling off a little bit short. The fight is not over yet, though. Xenon Hawk is going to fall, and I'm afraid to say it, but I think that is the chink in the armor that the members of Sanguine needed. They needed to see something. Famous Hate going to come out with a beautiful Sanctuary, avoiding I'm a Monster, dashing out of the crush. Wonderful plays coming out. No members of Sanguine have fallen yet in this team fight. We see Medieval still diving into the backline, jumping around on this Fenrir. Nobody's died. This Phoenix is still going strong, but the members of Sanguine are showing us exactly what it is to continuously siege a Phoenix. Beautiful wall going to come out of Blaze. The middle Phoenix is down. Ragnarok is going to pick up Blaze. Blaze is going to die to the detonate. Covey getting credited for that kills. The member of Sanguine just got exactly what they wanted. A couple kills, and more importantly, that middle Phoenix bringing fire minions into 2 lanes of this map.
Yeah, they not only got the middle Phoenix, they got the 2 kills on the Xenon Hawk and Blaze, which are going to continue to stunt their growth. Xenon Hawk being one of the pinnacle characters in these team fights with that one new heal, and Blaze with the sheer amount of damage. Sanguine Esports are continuing this snowball here. Medieval, Famous 8, and Fun Crush looking at the Gold Fury. Going to be able to get it without any contest. The closest member anywhere near them is Bud Pop, and he knows better. So Sanguine Esports going to go home, get some items, and probably prepare to take out the Titan on EnG Prime. It's 25 minutes and 40 seconds into the game. Sanguine Esports are up with 22 kills versus EnG Prime's 5.
Fire Giant just respawned over here. Now remember, the members of EnG Prime had the timer. Fun Crush, or the members of Sanguine, also have the timer, but only once it spawned. They now know that it's up and available as well, so we're going to start seeing more members of the teams rotating and staying over here on the right-hand side of the map so that they don't give an advantage to the enemy team.
Yep, Famous 8 Medieval tacking away dutifully at this Fire Giant, and Covey and Athena and Fun Crush just doing a fantastic job of zoning, but now Medieval's joining the fray, and Utah didn't even have a chance to do anything to passive his proc, and he is gone. But it's not it. Famous 8 getting a lot of damage from that crush, but Blaze gonna finish him off in the back line, so Kumbhakarna is down.
Kumbhakarna going down, Blaze going down, Xenon Hawk going
down.
Famous 8 being down is a pain for Sanguine Esports, but the other 4 members, it seems like it's only sated their lust for blood. They are out to get Bud Pop, and he will fall too. We got a 4-man grouping, and now, I'm sorry, Fate, you're in the wrong section of town. Sanctuary's not going to be enough. You will fall right now to Fun Crush.
At this point with Sanguine Esports, they're saying, why do we even need the Fire Giant? Nobody is available. Utah just got back up, but we have more than enough damage to take this out. We're seeing the ultimates come out. Utah getting shredded, and as is the Titan as well. Utah trying to get back. He will be able to heal himself up with the dash, but it's all for naught. Sanguine Esports taking down the Titan 27 minutes and 11 seconds into the game, 27-6.
Sanguine Esports protecting their life in this 4th week of open bracket play here in the North American Challenger Cup. That was a beautiful game. I'm sorry, EnG Prime, your time is up. We are going to go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll be back for round 3.
We have one number I have to show you. Go to the numbers and look at Covey's player damage. Before we go back, look at Covey's player damage. 37,286 damage. That is an insane number, and nobody comes close. So shout-outs to Covey, 6-2 and 15. All members of Sanguine Esports worked as a fantastic, cohesive unit. Unfortunately, EnG Prime will be knocked out, and we will not see them in the round-robin tournament. Sanguine Esports going to move on to round 3. I'm Tiger, this is a Pip, and you're watching the NA Week 4 Challenger Cup, brought to you by Discord, hi-rez Studios, and Owlhead Studios. Stay tuned.